I passed notes around with my best friend during after-school math lessons. We were so bored it was the only thing keeping us entertained until a teacher suddenly yelled, "Today we're doing something different, no math." Everyone looked at each other. This was literally supposed to be a math class. Then he told us to pick a number, 1 or 2. I picked 1, my best friend picked 2. Then everyone else chose. When we were finished, he pointed to opposite sides of the classroom. Everyone who picked 1, go left. Everyone who picked 2, go right. We had no idea what was happening until he put a label above each side. My side said, smart. My best friend said, dumb. What is this? My best friend was shouting, I get the highest grades in this class. The teacher didn't answer. He just handed us a test. We all sat down and started writing. At first, everything felt normal, but halfway through, I started noticing something. Everyone on my side seemed to be flying through the questions, but my best friend was struggling. He'd answer a question, then erase it, write another answer, then erase that one too. And that's when I started wondering, did he give us different tests? Just because I was given number 1 didn't mean I should get an easier test. We should all be on equal ground, but I couldn't know for sure, so I kept writing. Eventually, I finished. The teacher collected everyone's test and started grading them. Then he looked up. Interesting. The entire room went silent. Every student on the number 2 side scored worse than they normally do. My best friend looked down, and every student on the number 1 side scored better than they normally do. Everyone started looking around. Then our teacher smiled. Now let me tell you something. We all took the exact same test. There was never a smart test. There was never a dumb test. The numbers were completely random. He looked toward my best friend. You were the highest scoring student in this class, but the moment I called you dumb, you started believing me. Then he looked at the rest of us, and the students I called smart, you started believing you were capable of more. He paused. That's the power of a label. If you constantly tell someone they're stupid, they may eventually stop trying. But if you tell someone they're capable, they may push themselves further than they ever thought possible. He looked around the classroom, so don't let a label decide what you're capable of. I passed notes around with my best friend. My cat woke me up at exactly 3 a.m. every single night. This wasn't normal. She used to sleep soundly. Sometimes she'd sleep for more than 24 hours, but suddenly she barely slept at all. And whenever I tried going back to sleep, she'd paw at my face, so I'd get up and she'd lead me somewhere. The laundry room, nothing. The kitchen, nothing. The living room, nothing. CeeLo, what are you trying to show me? She just stared at me. Every night, the same thing. Then I noticed something strange. Every morning, her water bowl was empty, but I never saw her drink it. I thought maybe I was just forgetting to fill it. So I started watching, and somehow every morning it was empty again. Then one night I decided to follow her. She led me through the house, stopping at different rooms, checking everything. Then she stopped and stared down the hallway. I looked at the clock, 2:59 a.m. CeeLo suddenly crouched down. Then the clock changed 3. I jumped. Something had hit the wall. CeeLo sprinted toward the sound. I followed her, but there was nothing there, just my empty hallway. I looked at CeeLo. See, there's nothing here. She just stared at the hallway. The next morning, her water bowl was empty again, and this time there were tiny wet paw prints beside it. They weren't hers. That night, I stayed awake. I hid around the corner and waited. 2:58, 2:59. CeeLo suddenly stood up. She stared at the hallway. Then I heard something. Very quietly, something was moving in the dark. CeeLo ran toward it. I followed, and a shadow disappeared into the next room. I turned on the light. Nothing. Then, bang! I opened the door and froze. There was another cat lying on the floor. It could barely move. It was covered in scratches and looked like it hadn't eaten in days. CeeLo immediately ran over and started licking its face. I rushed over and wrapped the cat in a blanket. For the next few days, we fed it, gave it water, and kept it warm. Slowly, it got better, and now I have another family member. The cat woke me up.
They came to steal the show!
I was hand washing the last plate when I washed away the dirt and saw a message. Help me. I froze. Who could have left this? There are only 4. My cat I was hand washing the last plate when I washed away the dirt and saw a message. Help me. I froze. Who could have left this? There are only 4 people in our house. My mom, my dad, my brother, and me. And whoever wrote this had left it specifically for me. We all had our own days to wash the dishes. Mine was Monday. So whoever wrote this must have known I'd be the one washing this plate. But why leave a message on a dish? Why not just ask me directly? Then I remembered my brother. He was supposed to come home from a school trip 3 days ago. It had been a week. Whenever I asked my parents where he was, they always said the same thing. His trip got extended. I believed them, but now I wasn't so sure. My brother wasn't just my brother. He was my best friend. We played every game together. He'd sneak me snacks when our parents weren't looking. Whenever I was scared, he'd tell me everything was going to be okay. And now he was gone. I looked back at the message, help me. What if this was from him? But how? He wasn't even home. Unless he was. My parents had one rule I'd never been allowed to break. Never go into the basement. They told me I couldn't go down there until I started high school. I never questioned it, but suddenly I wasn't thinking about the rule anymore. I was thinking about my brother. I walked toward the basement door. It was locked. I stared at it for a few seconds. Then I took a deep breath. Whatever was behind that door, I had to find out. I grabbed the vacuum cleaner. It was the only thing I could think of using as a weapon. Then I swung it against the door. The lock broke. I rushed down the stairs. I'm here to save you. And then I saw him. My brother was lying unconscious on the floor. My heart stopped. I dropped the vacuum and ran toward him. Wake up. I shook his shoulder. His eyes slowly opened. You actually got my message. I nearly started crying. Then he told me everything. He hadn't been on a school trip. Our parents locked him in the basement because his grades were too low. They made him study down there all day and night. He was allowed food, but never allowed upstairs, and we both had no phones, no way of contact. So he waited for the one day he knew I'd be washing dishes, Monday. He took a stone from the basement floor and scratched the message into a plate. Then he covered it with food stains so our parents wouldn't notice. I grabbed his arm and helped him toward the stairs. We were almost at the top when I saw someone standing there. My dad. He was staring directly at us. And what do you think you're doing? I stood in front of my brother, saving him. My dad's expression changed. Well, he grabbed the door. Now you're going to need someone to save both of you. I was hand washing the last plate when I washed away the dirt and saw a message. Help me. I froze. Who could have left this? He squeezed my pimple until it popped. The whole class laughed. Pizza face. That's what they called me. Every single day. My bully would grab me by my hair, pull me in front of everyone, and say, look at his face. He'd fix his hair and smile at himself. Then he'd poke my stomach and look at his belly. I hated the way I looked. And honestly, I blamed my parents for it. Growing up, my mom would put 4 scoops of rice on my plate. That was completely normal in our house. But I started looking into what I was eating.